Why? Why?
Because I believed that Mike was having sexual relations with his daughter, and I thought nothing good could come of that.
A man disappears from his own home. His roommate tells everyone he just walked off into the woods, but for 3 weeks, no one reports him missing. And what investigators eventually found on the property changed the entire story. What was behind all this doesn't fit into any framework of normal.
You were talking about why you were encouraging James Whitaker to remove Michael Dixon from his home. And you mentioned that you believe there was a sexual relationship between Mr. Dixon and his daughter.
Correct.
Do you know where Melody was staying?
They stayed together.
When you say together, does that mean they stayed in the same basement together?
Correct. I never saw them lie together, but they went to bed together, and Jimmy said that they stayed down there together.
One second, sir. I want to focus on what you saw and what you witnessed, okay?
Correct.
So you said they stayed together in the basement. Do you know that they stayed together in the same bedroom?
There was only one bedroom down there.
And in that bedroom, how many beds were there?
One.
Now, let's just say on a given night when you're over there and Michael would go downstairs to bed, what would typically happen before he went downstairs to bed when Melody was there?
He told her to come to bed.
All right, so Michael stands up, says, Melody, come to bed. What does that mean? Where do they go?
Downstairs.
Did you ever hear sounds coming from that bedroom?
Yes.
And I'm gonna get more specific. Did you ever, sir? You've got a child, so I presume that you've also had sexual relations with someone at some point, right?
Correct.
All right. You're 38 years old. Do you know what the sounds of intimacy are?
Yes.
Coming from a bedroom?
Yes.
Thinking about those sounds that you heard in that bedroom when Melody Dixon was in there and Michael Dixon was in there, would you consider those sounds of intimacy, of sexual relations?
Yes, I would.
We were mentioning that you tried to get James Whitaker to kick Michael Dixon out, and that the reason was because of that sexual relationship that you believe was happening. Did Jimmy kick him out?
No. I think he maybe in some way liked having the company, but he seemed reluctant to make Mike leave.
But that wasn't the only red flag. There would be another incident, one that Keith recalls vividly, that also caused him a significant amount of concern. It was another piece of a puzzle that just didn't seem to fit right.
Was there an occasion in which Melody made advances to you?
Yeah, she made a pass on me.
What does a pass mean?
Made an offer to have sex, essentially.
Was Michael present when this happened?
He was in the basement. He came upstairs right after she said that, and I told her that I wasn't interested, and, she's too young and for me, and I wasn't interested.
Michael, was he aware of what was happening?
Oh, I'm sure he heard that all. That's why he came upstairs pissed off.
So he came upstairs pissed off. What did he do when he came upstairs pissed off?
Grabbed the .22 and you walked over to the door and shot it out there. I thought you shot her car at first, but I think he just fired it out the door. I can't remember. He shot it a couple times.
So he was upset at the advance that Melody had made to you and fired a gun.
I think he was pissed at her,
That's all I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination?
Yes, a couple follow-ups. Did she make a specific offer, or did she say something that was sort of tangential?
I was gathering some things, stopped to grab something probably tool-wise, this or that with the car. I said I was going to go fishing, and she was like, why don't you stay and we could have some fun? And that was her pass, if you will.
Okay, that was the exact things that she said to you.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you believe that Mr. Dixon heard that.
Oh, I know he did.
Okay. And you believe that he was upset about that?
Yes.
But he didn't come after you, did he?
Huh?
He
was glaring at her.
Okay. But he didn't come after you, correct?
No, he did not.
Didn't threaten you, right?
I thought he was going to when he grabbed the gun, but
he didn't, right?
No, he did not.
So he had a gun in his hand but didn't threaten you at all?
No.
Now, it's important to understand the context of this environment. Keith Strickland himself would also be a user of methamphetamines. And during his time on the stand, under the intense scrutiny of the court, he would be asked about the specific details regarding this side of his life. This wasn't just a casual inquiry. It was an attempt to paint a full picture of the world these men inhabited.
Yes.
You're 38. How long have you been using meth?
On and off, decade maybe or so, you know.
And you said on and off, but when it's on, what is your use like?
Every day. There's been times that I've been struggling with it most of my life, and it's not something I wish to continue doing.
What about those off times? How do those off times come about?
To make attempts to just not use things, you know, keep clean. You know, I've had many times throughout the years where I haven't used.
Because you've been using meth for over or around a decade, would you say that you're pretty familiar with the effects of meth on
Yes.
an individual?
Yes.
Okay. Were you familiar with the effects of methamphetamines on James Whitaker?
Yes,
Had you also used methamphetamines with Michael Dixon?
I had.
I want to talk about, I want to talk about July 4th, and, you know, we're going to explore meth use, your use that day, Jimmy's use that day, and Michael Dixon's use that day, okay? And I want to make sure we have the context of understanding that, you know, we're going to talk about this because you have experience with it, and you have experience with these gentlemen as well.
Keith states quite clearly that he had been using the substance with James for many years. And during all of that time, he had never once seen his friend become even remotely violent while under the influence. Think about that for a moment. Years of shared experiences and not a single instance of aggression. In fact, he goes further, saying that he had never seen James get violent with anyone, ever, under any circumstances whatsoever. All he ever noticed about James's use was that it simply made the man a little more energetic and buzzed. On the afternoon of July 4th, Keith takes his vehicle over to James's house to work on the suspension. It was supposed to be a normal day. But prior to his arrival, a sequence of events had already been set in motion. James, Michael, and Melody had already ingested meth together. When Keith gets there, Michael and James meet him in the garage. Before they even start working on the vehicle, the three men snort a few more lines of the substance.
So you've taken this meth that speeds you up, makes you a little hyper, makes you a little warmer. Now, I mean, I'm thinking you're also got a car jacked up, which is a heavy item, and you're getting under the car. Does that make you concerned that you lack the capacity to work on a car?
No, I've done it many times before.
Would you say it's technical to work on the suspension system?
Some, yeah. I mean, it's easier if you know things about it, you know.
And did you know some things about it?
I do, yeah.
Does Michael Dixon know some things about it?
He does.
Does Jimmy know some things about it?
Yeah, all three of us did. That's why it was helpful sometimes for me to work on it there, because I could have other opinions if, you know, needed.
So you had taken meth, but you were still had the capacity to work on your car.
Correct.
At around 10 p.m., Keith finally finishes working on his vehicle and leaves the cabin. Michael, along with his daughter Melody, also leave to go to another friend's house. According to Michael, he was working on another car there. At around 4 in the morning, he wraps up that work, then drives himself and his daughter back to the Whitaker residence. They get back to the cabin at around 5 a.m. When Keith returns the next morning to continue working on his car, just as he did the day before, he notices something is wrong. James isn't home. When he asks Michael where his friend is, Michael gives him a casual, almost dismissive answer. He tells him that James had taken some personal belongings and just walked off into the woods somewhere. Now, James was known to go hunting in the area, sometimes for days at a time. So Keith says that at this very moment, he felt there was no immediate reason for alarm. But a day later, on July 6th, James's mother, Diana, is becoming increasingly worried. She explains that she speaks to James on a daily basis over the phone. It was their routine. And even when he went away on those long hunting trips, her son would still find a way to contact her every single day. In the rare times he couldn't, he would always let her know in advance. This was a man who was meticulous about communication. He was the sort of person that would leave notes stuck on the fridge telling Michael when he was simply going down to the store for a few minutes. So for no one to have heard from him for almost 3 days with absolutely no explanation, it had the people closest to him deeply concerned. Many of them started to wonder if the worst had happened. Had he walked off for a day of hunting and suffered a heart attack out in the woods somewhere? If so, he would likely die out there, all alone. Despite these growing concerns, the police are not contacted. He is not officially reported as missing for 3 full weeks. There are a number of reasons that friends and family later gave for why the police were not contacted during this critical period. They ranged from family members living out of state and trying to get a vehicle repaired so they could drive down and search for him themselves, to the large majority of them sharing the hope that he did just walk off and simply wanted to be left alone for a while. During this 3-week time period, while his whereabouts are a complete mystery and he hasn't been reported missing, a completely unrelated incident sees police arriving at the Whitaker cabin to ask some questions. The police were called to investigate an incident at a nearby rental cabin where a bullet went through the windshield of a car. The officers say that this is actually a fairly common occurrence, as the area is known to have a high level of hunting and shooting activity.
Hello, Sheriff's Office.
Huh?
Hi there. How are you today?
Oh, good.
Is this the Whitaker house?
Yes.
Okay. Were you guys doing any shooting earlier today?
The cabin one? And then we went out and shot otters.
Okay. What was you guys shooting?
Magnum.
What, a 44 Magnum?
45 points.
Okay. How we doing?
All right.
We shot Gun. 40.
Up on the road.
Well, she said you guys were shooting.
I shot
We're
things.
shooting a 22.
Well, she said you were shooting a Magnum of some sort. But you have maybe a 44 or 45?
She's got a 50 muzzle loader.
Okay.
Magnum.
Once.
What'd you shoot in it? What kind of ammo?
Oh, hold on.
Okay. That'd be terrific.
They're just like bullets about this long and they've got rubber on the back.
Can I see one?
Oh, sorry. I wasn't getting so close.
What did you shoot at?
Huh?
What did you shoot at?
You see a Taurus?
What's a hollow point, is it? Okay. Was you shooting anything else?
That and the 22.
Okay. We had
I
a.
only shot that once and I can show you where it hit the tree.
Okay.
Because I know they go far. It's like shooting rifles.
Right.
Well, the new ones.
Well, it's no big deal. We had somebody that fired a gun and it struck a windshield. Nobody got hurt or anything like that. But it would have been in this general direction.
So
What was the handgun? I mean, you said there was
a baby.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
you said there was like a 45 or a 44 or something?
No, I'm talking about the big muzzle loader. It's a 45 muzzle. That's what I said.
What that was? Okay, well, sorry to bother you.
Ain't bothering us.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I don't know.
I mean, if you didn't.
Someone else around here was shooting today?
It sounded like it's always. I'm trying to think of them
We think
people's
it's the cabin
names.
people.
Was it?
Reeds.
Because there's several rental cabins, and I don't know if there's anything between you and. Because it happened at a rental cabin. Just a couple doors down.
Of course, I know there's a guy that goes up the hill that comes only on the weekends that shoots a lot.
Can you show me, Miss, can you show me what you shot earlier when you shooting the muzzle loader?
The Taurus. I don't have my shoes.
Yeah, you go ahead and get your shoes. What's your name?
Michael Dixon.
Okay, I thought I recognized you. I hadn't seen you in a long time.
I try to keep it like that. I try to stay out of trouble.
What's her name?
Melody's my daughter.
Okay. Do you live here now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All righty. At least you've been staying out of trouble. That's good.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Where was you at when you shot at it?
It's kind of direction of burn house. You know where that is? How you see?
But just about in the area. Were you shooting this direction? This direction? And where did you aim when you shot the muzzleloader? The tree? Is that what you shot at the tree with?
I don't remember.
So at some point, she can't remember now if she shot the muzzleloader into the car or if maybe she shot it at a tree out here.
I don't know. I shoot a lot. And it's usually my bow.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
But was anybody else here with a different gun shooting?
no, nothing's been here today.
Okay, it was just the way you worded that just a second ago. Just seemed kind of weird. Seemed like there might be somebody else here shooting.
No, he's waiting on a friend to get here because my freaking motor, and we've been waiting on a couple hours and we're getting anxious because
So he's your dad? Okay.
Michael Dixon.
That's Michael Dixon? Okay. I didn't
I thought I
know.
recognized him. I hadn't seen him. in a
What's your
while.
name?
Melody Dixon,
Melody. How old are you?
18.
All right, well, we'll leave you alone. Just make sure if you guys are out shooting, make sure you have a good backstop.
I did good what?
A backstop. Something to hold your head.
And stop.
Oh, yeah. I don't shoot that much. The guns,
Okay, but anyway you shoot.
The officers take note that during this interaction, Melody could possibly have been under the influence of methamphetamines. They observed her jerky movements and a scattered way of talking that seemed unnatural. Ultimately, though, no further investigation is looked into here. The police depart, leaving Michael and Melody to continue living in the cabin without James there. When friends come around looking for James, the Dixons tell them the same story. They claim they have no idea where he is, that he simply walked off one morning, and that he more than likely wishes to be left alone. They suggested he was going through some things at the time of his disappearance. Keith Strickland, his loyal friend, comes to the cabin multiple times looking for him, refusing to give up. On one of these occasions, Michael provides a possible explanation as to where Mr. Whitaker could be. It's a shocking development. Michael says that when he was cleaning the cabin one day, he found a handwritten note. It appears to be a farewell letter of sorts, a note suggesting James took his own life, where he expresses the reasons for why he is leaving. It reads as follows.
I thought we all cared about each other, but didn't know what I was doing. I care for you, Mike, Melody, and if we became more of a family, our lives would be great. Better than things have been, but I see you, Mike, as someone I was looking out for. Then Melody, I fell in love with, not knowing how things were between you. She show me the woman she is, a being lovely and wanting to give a woman caring and love, not thinking of her wanting you and what you have for each other. I am at my end of this life, hurting, lonely, without anyone. I didn't think I would matter. Again, I'm right, I don't, I'm giving my life so that your pain goes away. Love, Jimbo. That's the last page of it, by the way.
This note, to put it mildly, confused many of James's friends and family. As they would later say, it lacked any resemblance to the way he would normally communicate, especially at the end of his messages. Something about it just felt completely wrong.
The end, it's signed Jimbo, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did your father go by Jimbo?
Not at all.
Did he sign his notes by Jimbo?
No.
What was your thoughts on it?
James's mother and his daughter, Julie, at this point decide that enough is enough. They will drive over to the cabin themselves to see what's really happening. But due to Julie's car not working, it takes them a bit over a week to actually get there. In a testament to his friendship, Keith Strickland actually sources a part from a nearby scrapyard and drives it out to them. He helps them fix the vehicle. Then they all drive to the cabin together, collecting 2 more friends on the way. On July 25th, the party arrives at the cabin, determined to figure out what is going on. When they first arrive, Julie immediately confronts Michael about her father's whereabouts. The time for excuses was over.
I surely did.
All right. Tell us about that conversation.
I walked up the steps, he walked up behind me. We were standing face to face, and Melody was sitting in a chair right beside of me. And I asked him where my dad was. He said he did not know. He said he had taken off, went somewhere. And then I said, to where and with who? And he said he didn't know because he wasn't there. I was looking around the kitchen where we were standing, and there was a lot of things missing.
What things? Talk about that a little bit, please.
He had, just like most other people, a place he sat and things that sat around that place. The captain's chair, that's what we called it, his chair. The captain's chair was there, but there was nothing else there that looked like my dad was even represented in his home. Everything was gone. So I asked Mike, where's all my dad's stuff? And he said he took it with him. And I started asking specific items, like his medicine bag, his book bag that he always had sitting in the corner that just kind of had an extra set of clothes. If you need to grab it because emergency happens, you got to go somewhere, and he calls, hey, somebody's in the hospital. He just always had we all do, me and all my sisters, my dad, it was just something we did. His 1100 shotgun that I killed my 12-point with that always sat right there at the window. The notebook and stuff, just things that my dad had. And Mike just kept saying, he took it with him, he took it with him, he took it with him. And then I said, how do you know that? Because I thought you weren't here. And he said, I meant I wasn't up here. I was downstairs. I said, so who did he leave with, or how did he leave? And he said he just took off. And so I actually specifically named off all of those items and said, so you mean to tell me he took off walking with all of that stuff, Mike?
What did the defendant say to you?
Yeah. And he, the entire time wouldn't even look at me. And so as he wasn't looking at me and he's looking this way, I was staring at him. Next question was, so if my dad's been gone and you don't know where he is, why wouldn't you try to call me or message me on Messenger? Because we're friends on Facebook on 2 accounts that he has, and he's sent me plenty of Messenger messages.
What was his answer to that?
I don't know. And then I realized my dad's TV was gone. It was like a 60-inch, I don't know the brand, but, flat screen TV, thin flat screen TV. I said, where the fuck is my dad's TV? But way louder, because I was pretty upset at that point because I knew he was, anyways.
And what did the defendant say to that?
He took it with him.
And what did this cause you to do, Julie?
Get very angry.
Why did you get very angry?
Because he had told me he didn't witness him leave, yet he was telling me he knew that he took off walking with all of this stuff, a 60-inch TV, a shotgun, a couple bags, a lot of stuff for a man that's, 56 years old and had heart surgery and all kinds of other things, to just take off walking with all this stuff and for 3 weeks. I immediately said, you know what, I'm done with this. The sheriff's on his way. Just get the fuck off this property and don't come back until my dad is found.
What was Melody doing at this time while you're having this discussion with the defendant?
Sitting in a chair right beside me, and he looked at her and said, don't say anything.
In a flurry of activity, Michael and Melody gather up some of their belongings: a 50-pound bag of dog food, half a chainsaw, some arrows, and a crossbow. They put it all in their vehicle, which appeared to have already been loaded up with many other items, such as clothing and bags. It looked like they were ready to leave at a moment's notice. The 2 drive away just before the sheriff arrives, and soon after, law enforcement begins a basic search of the house and the surrounding property.
You look to make sure that Mr. Whitaker was not inside, hurt, bleeding. You walk in, there's a main entry room. I would call it a walk-in room. There is a room to the left that has a closed door that was covered. You couldn't get to. You could either go up, it's like a split level, so you could either go straight up to the kitchen area, or you'd go to the right, you would go straight down to the basement area where Mr. Dixon and Melody Dixon was living. When we went in, this basement is a mess. I believe it's like the beginning of a Hoarder episode. When we walk in, we start looking for Mr. Whitaker, and there's 2 blood drops right inside the door, what appear to be blood drops. So at that point, I made a determination to stop. We went and got a search warrant for a more thorough search of the property.
James Whitaker is now officially classified as a missing person under suspicious circumstances. And while obtaining the search warrant that was just mentioned, the detective learned something critical. Michael Dixon has a failure to appear warrant out for his arrest. Believing that Michael may have much more to do with the disappearance than he's letting on, the detective quickly tracks him down to his stepfather's house. The very next day, he is arrested.
What are you up to? You want to come out here and talk to this detective for me real quick?
How you doing? All right. Mike? Mike, there's a Fairfield County's got a warrant for you. You can take you there. Okay? Why don't you take a couple hits off that cigarette?
Or you just can't hang it in your mouth, keep smoking it if you want. That'll help you out. Dad here? Okay. Is there anybody else here or just your dad?
Dad, my daughter.
Okay. Which daughter's here?
Melody.
Both he and Melody are questioned at this location, right there at the stepfather's house, before Michael is brought into the station for more formal questioning.
Where's Mr. Whitaker at?
Last time I seen him was 5th.
Was the 5th?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
He was at the house, and we went over to a friend Kenny's, and we came back around 5 a.m. because we were there for a while. Dad works with Kenny a lot, and he wasn't home. He just wasn't there.
Did James say where he was going or anything?
No, he didn't really say where he was going. He was just, he's been upset a lot about Jessica. He was going off one night about her. He just,
That was his wife?
his daughter.
His daughter? Oh.
They got in a fight one night.
Oh, okay. I knew his wife passed away some time ago, maybe a few years ago. Diane. So he was mad about Jessica?
Yeah.
What was that about?
She came over like drunk a while back, and she said, "Come on, Dad, you're taking a ride with me." And when he came back, Aaron's mother thought he was dying and said he was going to effing kill everybody, and he was going to kill himself. He's tired about it all. I mean, Dad usually just ignore it because he usually doesn't act on stuff like that. We figured that he just, left. Didn't say anything to anybody. We talked to his friends and they said, well, don't report him yet because he might not want anyone to know he's gone at the moment.
Did he say anything? I mean, you say that he talked about killing himself?
Well, he talked about it, but he never.
Did he do that often?
Yeah. But he was, depressed, so.
You want to talk to me about what's been going on at Jim's house?
Kenny and Ryan come down asking if I'd help him. It was about 10:30. I told him I'd come up and help. We worked on the narrative compressor until about 3:30 that night. When I got home, he wasn't there.
Did he have anything to say prior to you leaving that evening?
He'd been talking to some girl or whatever, but
Who was the girl?
I think her name was Tracy, but I'm not for sure.
Tracy? You know where Tracy lives?
All according to Jimmy in Tennessee.
You guys got home the following morning?
About 4:30. I went to his, I yelled for him because usually he's up about that time. I noticed he's like a piece of copper or something holding his door shut, and I thought that was kind of strange. After I yelled for him and he didn't come out, and I seen the wire, I opened up the wire and noticed he was gone and noticed that his gum was missing. He might have had a book bag of clothes, he always did, but there's so much stuff up there. Hell, I don't know. And then his daughter comes saying, oh, I was getting rid of his stuff. I didn't get rid of nothing of his. He was like a dad to me. Hell, I've been up there with him for 2 years.
Yeah. So where do you think Jim is?
I wish I knew.
You don't have any idea where he's at?
No.
And there's nothing to indicate that anything had happened to him?
No.
No. Is there any chance, Mike, that you guys got into an argument and something happened?
Nope.
I've heard that he was depressed at times.
Depressed.
Anything about that?
He talked about killing himself before, and I always told him it wasn't worth it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's what's happened to him?
I don't see if that'd be the case if he took the TV and his gun. I mean,
Right.
the gun maybe, but not the TV.
Right.
I'd like to hope not. But he kept talking about it. And then he talked about some well or something that no one would find him.
Where's the well at?
I was thinking it'd be within walking distance because he said he could walk there. I've walked all them woods the last couple of weeks and I never could find nothing.
So you went looking for him then?
Quite a few times.
But he talked about suicide quite often?
Mm-hmm. Because his wife died, I think 3-4 years ago. None of his kids would come see him. His grandkids he wasn't allowed to see. That bothered him a lot.
So what do you think has happened to Jim?
I'm hoping nothing. I'm hoping he just took off, but I don't know why. We've been talking to Andrea's people again. Dad noticed they've been up there about 4 times. Supposedly the people that abducted him before, he says.
That did what? That took him before?
That's what he said. He said they abducted him and took him to, Arizona. Somehow he managed to escape.
When did that supposedly happen?
I'm trying to think how long Andrea's been in jail. It had to be about 2.5, 3 years ago because it was before I went up there.
On a day-to-day basis, you would talk with his mom, at least weekly.
I was going to say that was the only one to talk to was his mom.
Well, don't you think it'd be nice for her to at least know where he's at and if he has died, to be able to bury him?
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a loved one that you really cared about, wouldn't you like to have closure?
Later that evening at the station, Michael faces another, more intense interview. The pressure was mounting, and the detectives were not going to let up.
Listen to me. I want to help you. But if you're not honest with me, when I walk out that door, I can't help. But we need to know what happened to Jim. Can you give me something of what happened that particular day? Because he was good to you.
Yeah.
And you were good to him. But something happened that particular day. Mike, I'm not lying to you, buddy. I can help you. Listen, I can help you. Where can I find Jim? Where can I find him? Mike, it's okay. Where can I find him?
I don't know.
Mike, listen, let me come over here to you. Mike, I know you know what happened to Jim. I know. Okay? You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Help me. And I help you. It's simple. I will not let you go through this alone. Let's treat him like a human. He was really good to you. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Let's give it back to him. Now's your chance. Because you didn't mean what happened. What happened to Jim, it didn't need to happen. It was an accident. Was it an accident?
Yeah.
It was? Okay. So what happened then? Did he fall and hit his head? Did a gun go off? Did a knife, accidentally stab him in an argument?
His gun went off.
His gun went off? Okay. So, how did it go off?
Me and him was struggling over because my daughter was trying to go to the well, she went to the bathroom and then he was trying to grab her.
Okay. So this happened in the house? Where did it happen at?
Kitchen.
In the kitchen? Was the gun in your hand?
I grabbed a hold of it, but he was pointing it at me.
Okay, that's okay. Was it a shotgun? Where's Jim now?
By the burn pile.
By the burn pile? Did you burn him? You burn him? Okay. What did you use to burn him?
It's trash.
Who helped you burn him?
Nobody.
Your daughter?
No, I told her to go to the basement.
How long did it take you to burn him?
About a few days. I burnt stuff there.
What was the argument over?
We was coming in so late and he just come out and he was in a bad mood. Here's the gun like this, and I take it, I grab it, and I put it up like that, and it goes off.
Okay.
Over this way.
It was it go off over here. Okay. So if I have it, is he like this?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And then what happened? Go ahead. You can grab it. It's fine.
Hold of it went like that.
Okay. And it went off on this side of his face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did he die instantly?
Mm-hmm.
So his finger was on the trigger? Okay. And he said he was going to kill you. What did he say he was going to kill you for?
He didn't say. He told my mom, he called her earlier that night, said that as soon as I walked in, he was going to shoot me.
Okay. Okay. Where is the gun?
In the pile too.
It's in the same pile? Okay.
He told me that I needed to get out of the house, this, that, and another, and I told him as soon as my daughter got out of the bathroom that I would leave, and he said no, Melody wasn't leaving.
Why did he say that she wasn't leaving?
He didn't say.
Where was she at when the shooting happened?
In the bathroom. Jimmy went, because she started to come out and he went to grab her by the neck.
So if I go out, I go to grab him, right hand or left hand?
He went to grab her by his left hand.
Left hand?
Or that would have been his right.
Okay.
Because
like this?
He had a gun in his hand.
Okay. Was the gun pointed up or down?
Kind of like pointed like at my stomach area.
Pointed?
Mm-hmm.
Like at you? Or just kind of out in the middle of nowhere?
It kind of pointed like, if he would have shot it, it would have hit me.
Okay. And so then what happened? So was his finger like on the butt of the gun?
No, it was like the butt, like I showed you earlier, but he had it
on
like on the trigger.
But his finger was on the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So he had it like that. He had like this.
Yep.
Then what
I
happened?
Grabbed a hold of the gun and pushed it up, and it went off.
So while he still got his hand around her neck?
Well, she just started to walk in. That was like a distraction, it seemed like to me.
So his hand was actually
on me, on the girl.
On her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Or not?
Yes, it was.
It was. What clothes did she have on and where are they?
She had on a white dress. I don't know what she did with them.
A white dress?
Mm-hmm.
Did she clean it?
No, I don't think so.
We're just sitting there enjoying the evening, having a few drinks with our friends. Was just sitting there, and then Melody shows up and wants to know if she could buy some gasoline. She was wearing like a white, you would call it a summer gown maybe, a light dress, and it appeared to have bloodstain on the right shoulder. After she asked me to buy some gas, I said, sorry, honey, I didn't have any gas. Usually I have some in the back of my truck. But at that particular time, I didn't have any. So and she turned around and walked away. But yes, sure looked like blood to me.
Because you told me earlier you left the whole part out about your daughter. coming in the room like that. You left that completely out. So which one is being truthful? The one where the daughter's coming at, or the other one?
The one with the daughter.
Why did you leave that part out?
Because I want my daughter left out of it. She didn't have nothing to do with it.
Okay, but I understand. But it's very important that we get every aspect of it to understand what happened here. Were you drinking?
No.
Were you under the influence of any drugs when it happened? Be honest.
Yes.
What were you using?
Meth.
Okay. How did you get him out of the house?
On the sled.
What sled?
There's a black sled up there by the burn pile.
Okay. And you moved him from the house over to the burn pile?
Yes.
Okay.
First, I just left him there for about a day, trying to figure out what the hell to do.
And just left him outside?
Mm-hmm. Went and laid down, took a nap for 3, 4, 5 hours.
Did you load him up on the cart yourself, or did your daughter help?
No, she didn't help.
Okay.
I told her to go to the basement. She went to sleep.
And where's the TV?
It got burnt too.
Did you ever happen to buy a television off of the defendant?
Yes.
How did you come to buy that?
I purchased it off of him with cash.
How much did you pay for it?
$100.
Are you remorseful that this happened?
My what?
Are you remorseful? Are you sorry? Sad?
Yeah.
Why are you sorry and sad?
Because now he's gone, and I think if we would have just been able to talk about it like we did in the past, it would have been fine. That's all I've been thinking about since it's happened.
I bet. You probably haven't ate or slept, have you? Okay. All right. Just hang tight, okay? I'll be right back with you.
With new information in hand, detectives go straight to the burn pit on the property. They begin to excavate the site, meticulously looking for anything that may resemble the remains of James Whitaker. It was a grim and painstaking task.
Where it looked like most likely Mr. Whitaker's remains would be in the burn pit, and piece by piece, we actually start peeling it back, removing the trash can or the trash from the burn pit, pop cans, debris, whatever may be in that burn pit. We start going piece by piece by piece. It was several hours processing the burn pit, looking for human remains. The first initial piece we found, the scalp was the first piece we found.
And what else?
Several additional bone fragments and bones, partial bones, that were in the burn pit as well. I did not count each one, but there's probably in excess of 30 pieces of bone fragments.
But what wasn't found in the pit were key items that Michael said he had thrown in there to destroy evidence. The television, for one, and James's shotgun, for another. This was the weapon which Michael claimed had been the instrument that brought on his death. This weapon was later discovered to have been sold to someone Michael knew. Furthermore, police began to suspect that the actual weapon used in the crime was not James's shotgun at all, but another one which belonged to Michael's brother and was located at their stepfather's house. Michael's younger brother, John, who was the owner of this gun, had been living at their stepfather's residence at the time.
Asked to borrow it. He wanted to go hunting. I wondered why he wanted to borrow my gun to go hunting. I mean, he had plenty of his own, and Jimmy certainly had plenty of guns.
Did you let him borrow it?
It was an argument. But he eventually, I let him borrow it. We had a little scuffle about the gun, and I let him borrow it.
Okay, when did you see it again?
A short time before all the cops came. It was under my daughter's bed. It was there when I got home from work. My daughter doesn't live with me. She comes to stay with me on the weekends. I have a little tiny room. We have 2 twin beds in there. She has hers, I have mine. Mine's full of clutter. I'm a clutter bug. I collect things. I like things. I bring things in and I work on them, and I end up with a bunch of clutter. Okay. So there's never any room under my bed. She is not a clutter bug. She's very clean and tidy. It's always clean under her bed. So I imagine that's why it got stuck there.
Mike didn't tell you when he brought the gun over and put it under your daughter's bed?
I don't believe so.
Where did the police ultimately retrieve this gun from?
I set out in my trunk.
Okay. How did it get from under your daughter's bed to in your trunk?
I took it there. I took it there because when I got off work, my stepdad, Frank, who I grew up under the understanding he was under disability. You're not allowed to have a gun, from what I understand. I've never been through the system. Can anybody help me out?
Well,
weapons, disability. If you're a felon, you're not allowed to have guns. So we grew up, we never had a gun in the house, ever, ever, ever. I'm 43 years old now. I moved away. I moved back in with my parents, and I bought a gun. I'm 43 years old. I wasn't allowed to have a gun with my wife and kids because she was terrified of them because of her crazy stepdad. I was in fear for my stepdad and the weapons disability being a thing still. It wasn't to hide the gun or to get rid of evidence. I see drones everywhere every night. I know you guys have me under surveillance. You guys knew I put it in my trunk. So I wasn't trying to hide it.
Okay. Well, look,
I just didn't want it
John,
in the house.
John.
My stepdad told me when I got home from work that the police were here today with a search warrant. They want to search the house. They're looking for a gun. I said, Frank, he told me that he told them there was no guns. He did not know there was a gun in that house. He didn't. It was in my room. He don't go in my room. I don't go in his room. I said, Frank, there is a gun in there. I'm going to get it out and put it in my car, and I'll take the heat for it. That's exactly what I did. Okay. This is me taking the heat.
So,
I've heard so many things that
John,
my gun.
John, I'm sorry. You have to wait for me to ask a question. Okay.
All right.
My apologies, but those are the rules. Okay. Thank you. The police got there, and did they ask you about the gun?
They said, you know what we're here for.
And what did you tell them?
Yeah. Where is it? In my trunk.
You didn't lie to them about it?
No. You got the paperwork. You know what I said to them. Did I lie to them about it?
I'm asking the questions, and
I'm telling you what you guys already know. No, I didn't lie to them about it.
My apologies, John. I know this is stressful for you, okay? But John, I mean, you didn't argue with them, and you didn't fight with them, and you really didn't lie to them. Is that right?
I didn't lie to them at all, really. I mean, the really doesn't need to be in there. I give them the straight honest. I told them what they needed to know. I didn't beat around the bush.
Just like you came in here and did today.
Right. I give it to them straight.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Following Michael's confession during the police interview, the detectives would find that many details of his story simply do not line up with the layout of the crime scene. Most notably, the locations of furniture and their positions around the house seem to be completely off. To clear this up, Michael is brought back to the cabin to do a walkthrough so that he can show detectives, play by play, exactly how the incident supposedly unfolded.
When we went back to do the walkthrough, we found out that the crime scene actually was cleaned up and the refrigerator, the shelving, different things were moved. They would stage the crime scene, and we had to find that original crime scene and put it back to what it was, where we could find the physical evidence, the blood, the smears, the cleanup. In this case, the fridge was pushed where it happened at. Allegedly, the fridge was actually pushed across the room, and the shelf that was sitting sideways was pushed back, hiding the blood spatter that was against the wall, the floor, and the back door window.
What are the various items that he indicated he cleaned?
There was a bottle of Clorox we recovered in the kitchen. I believe he said it was about half full. He used rags with bleach to wipe the windows, which we could actually, the back door window, you could actually see the smear mark still, the floor and the ceiling as well, where the blood spatter of Mr. Whitaker had been located. It was very cluttered. It was, I don't want to say junk, but it was just items atop of items, where it would be almost impossible to be able to negotiate the sled through the clutter down the steps and out the door. And even when you get out the door, you have a front deck that has more items, tables, chairs, through the front of it, where you would have to negotiate that as well, or move everything to get the sled out.
Speaking of this burn pit, he indicated that he kept it going with fire. Is that right?
Yes, I believe he said it lasted for several days.
Okay. What type of items did he state he put on the burn pit or on the fire?
Pretty much anything he could find, gasoline, there was Coleman camp fuel that was specifically mentioned that he used, clothing, tires, pretty much anything that would ignite or continue the fire that he could find he was using. He would restoke the fire or restoke the body and cut on, turn in it, and would rake it back and forth, get it to keep on burning. He said he observed a jawbone as when he was stoking the fire and he removed it from the fire. We did not find that in the burn pit. He told us it was in the area of the basement. It was underneath the dresser in some kind of plastic Tupperware container. When we went back again to the residence, the way the basement was so cluttered, we actually started removing piece by piece every item from the basement, almost every item, and actually brought them out the door to be able to search better inside the residence or in the basement area looking for this jawbone.
Were you able to locate the jawbone?
No, we were never able to locate the jawbone.
Searching for the remains of James Whitaker, did you locate any teeth?
No, we didn't. Mr. Dixon actually smashed Mr. Whitaker's teeth with a hammer to ultimately destroy the tooth, so we can't find it.
Michael would eventually go to trial facing 13 different charges, including murder, the desecration of human remains, and evidence tampering. The defense for Mr. Dixon was grounded in a very peculiar fact, that all of the information the state had acquired against him was actually provided by him. They'd say that despite his initial efforts to cover up the killing, once Michael had decided to tell the truth, he was completely honest and forthcoming about many details that he didn't need to give. Details such as the furniture being moved around and general crime scene information. They argued that he had been nothing but highly cooperative throughout the whole process. His attorney then posed a critical question. Because he had been so forthcoming and truthful about all of this information up to this point, why would he now lie about the crucial detail of self-defense? The attorney would urge the jury to hold Michael accountable for the charges such as evidence tampering. But the act of murder, he argued, is not something the man is guilty of, as it was all done in self-defense. To further push this idea that Michael was defending himself and his daughter during the cross-examination of his brother, John Dixon, they use an example of James's behavior in the months leading up to his death. John testifies to the tumultuous and often difficult relationship between the two roommates.
A love-hate relationship. Jimmy and Michael loved each other, but they also hated each other.
Okay.
They were too much alike.
Is it fair to say that there was conflict within their relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever hear Jimmy threaten him?
Absolutely.
You did?
Yeah.
What kind of threats would he make against Michael?
That he would kill him. One day somebody was going to end up dead.
Objection, Your Honor.
At any point, did you see Jimmy take an aggressive posture with Michael?
He took one with me.
He did?
Yes. I went up to help them out on occasion, on orders of my mother, because Jimmy would call needing help, a ride to get cigarettes, or to get cigarettes, Mountain Dew, to the store, whatever. Not a lot of people came around to help Jimmy, so we did it. I was there, had brought them their cigarettes and Mountain Dew and probably ice cream sandwiches, paid for it out of my pocket, the gasoline, everything, as had occurred quite often, because it was expected. I mean, my brother lived there. We tried to help out, to help pull his weight. So we did as was asked. They were working on Michael's Volkswagen at the time. Jimmy had bottomed it out and broke a pan or something or other. It was parked in his garage. He wanted to take me out to that garage, Michael, to show me what he was doing to it. Jimmy stayed in the house. We were out there for about 20 minutes, and then Jimmy came out hollering we needed to get out of there, and then it got heated, and he came out and pointed a gun at me and told me to get off of his property or he would shoot me.
Jimmy pointed a gun at you?
Yeah, I said, Jimmy. We had never had a problem up to that point. I'm like, really? And Mike, John, go, he's mad. He'll calm down.
Okay.
He was peeved that we were in his garage. He thought we were in there stealing stuff.
And when he told you to get off his property with the gun, you got off his property, is that right?
Absolutely. Why would I stick around, argue with a man with a gun? That'd be stupid, right?
Okay. So you didn't kill him and put him in a burn pit and burn up his body over the course of days, did you? You don't want to be here, do you?
I don't want to testify against my brother.
Okay.
He's my brother. I'm 43 years old.
Okay.
I've known him 43 years.
Okay.
We've been through a lot. He was my protector. Michael was my big brother.
Alan Jester, James's longtime friend, a person who would often help Michael himself by giving him gasoline and supplies, would recall times where Michael was feeling particularly heated towards James. He painted a picture of growing tension and resentment.
Angry with Jimmy. I mean, him and Jimmy argued. Everybody argued with Jimmy at one point in time. So, I don't know. For me to sit here and say literally he's going to go over there and kill him, he did say those words, I'll kill the MF more than once, on more than one occasion.
Okay.
And yes, he was talking about Jimmy. Jimmy was, he had a kind of rough upbringing. And, he had to pretty much fight for everything he had.
Okay. Do you ever see him get into fights?
Jimmy? No.
No. Okay.
No. He couldn't whip the wind, in my opinion.
The defense would then present only one witness. In what is always a risky move in a murder trial, the jury would hear from Michael Dixon himself. He was about to tell his story in his own words.
4 years.
4 years?
Yes.
How are you affected by meth when you use it?
It speeds you up. If you stay up very many days, in which that's what meth does, it keeps you up. Then it starts messing with your mind.
Okay. On this occasion, how many days in a row had you been up?
I believe 2, 3.
2 or 3 days in a row? Okay. You said that you've been with Mr. Whitaker pretty much over that entire time?
Yes.
Had he been using meth about the same as you had?
Yes.
When Mr. Whitaker used meth around you, how did you observe his behavior?
It's pretty much himself.
You and Melody went to Mr. Amarine's house?
Yes.
Okay. About what time did you leave to go to his house?
Thinking it was about 10:30.
How long did you stay at his house for?
Kenny's till about 4:30 in the morning.
What were you doing there?
Working on his vehicle.
Okay. Were you doing anything else while you were there with him?
Meth.
Okay. Also with Mr. Amarine?
Yep.
Okay. Where was your daughter while you were there?
In the truck sleeping.
So you're saying that you arrived back at Jimmy's about 5 in the morning?
Yes.
What happened when you first arrived at Mr. Whitaker's house?
Jimmy comes out, tells me to get the fuck off his property, and I ask him what his problem is.
So he comes around and has a gun in his hand and tells you to get off the property in no uncertain terms. And what do you say back to him?
I told him as soon as Melody got out of the bathroom, I would.
Did he tell you why he wanted you to leave?
No.
Okay. Did you have an argument with him before you left?
No.
Okay. Was he accusing you of anything?
No.
Did he appear to be in his right mind?
No.
Did he appear to be under the influence on this occasion?
Yes. Told me Melody wasn't going with me.
Okay. So he told you to leave, but that you had to leave your daughter there with him?
Yes.
Did he tell you why?
No.
How did you respond when he told you that Melody wasn't coming with you?
I told him he was full of shit.
Did you leave this area at all to go anywhere else at this point?
Yes, I went down to the basement.
Okay. Why'd you go down to the basement?
Got my gun.
Okay. So he had a gun, and then you go and grab your gun.
Yep.
Why did you feel it necessary to go grab a gun?
Because he just didn't seem in the right state of mind, and he had a gun pointing at me.
Okay.
The way I looked at it, any normal person that had a gun pointing at him is going to go get one.
When he pointed a gun at you, did you tell him anything?
I just told him I was going to get my gun. When I got back to the top of the steps, I could see the top part of his head and I shot him.
What made you feel at that point it was necessary to shoot?
I'm really not sure.
Okay. What did you do next?
I drug it out there, put it by the burn pile, got some brush, piled it around it. I've been up for probably 2 days. I went back to the house and laid down.
Okay, when you finally woke up, what happened next?
He'd come back up. I helped him work on his car. He left, and it was probably about dark time. Then I went out, took the Coleman fuel, and set him on fire.
Why would you burn the body afterward?
I wasn't thinking about it. All I was thinking about was try to cover it up. I was on meth.
Now, Mr. Dixon, I have to ask you this. You understand how that sounds, right?
It sounds awful.
Okay. And you understand that, right?
Yes.
Did you cut any part of the body up?
No.
Striations, each of those striae marks, those like lines that are going across the bone, demonstrate that there was sharp force trauma, serrated sharp force trauma used to cut this bone. This trauma is consistent with marks made by a power saw. They all have those distinct striae that are going across each of the samples, evenly spaced, and they have a ridge and then it goes, and then a ridge and then it goes, and that's the striae pattern.
Do you understand how someone could infer from those pictures that bones were cut?
Yeah.
Your story today is that you didn't cut the body at all, correct?
No, I did not.
You've already told people here today, and also on video, that you shot Mr. Whitaker, is that right?
Yes.
Did you feel in danger that night?
Yes.
Why did you feel in danger?
Because he had a gun. Okay. He told me he was going to kill me.
Do you feel Melody's life was in danger?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think her life was in danger?
There was a reason. I thought that he wouldn't let her leave with me. He wanted us to leave. He should just let us leave.
Were you afraid for both your safety and her safety when you shot him?
Yes.
Why would you tell untrue stories to the officer initially?
Initially, I was trying to cover up or stay out of trouble.
Now, one of the last things I want to go over is when you talked to Detective Downs, former Detective Downs, you were asked if you were sad, right?
Yes.
Were you sad for yourself?
I was sad for Jimmy.
Why would you be sad for Jimmy?
Because he was dead and I really cared for Jimmy. I still do.
Even though you shot him, you still care for him?
Yes.
Would you take back what happened if you could?
If I could, yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's not here anymore.
And just as you would expect, the state would cross-examine Michael Dixon extensively. They picked apart his story, questioned his motives, and challenged every single claim he made on the stand.
You were having sex with your daughter Melody, weren't you?
No.
So when Melody told that to law enforcement, she was lying? So when Keith Strickland testified that you and your daughter would go to bed together and there would be one bed down there, he was wrong, he was lying? Okay. So with respect to him saying that there were sex noises coming from the basement, that would not be true.
That's not true.
There's one bedroom down there?
No, there was 3 bedrooms down there.
How many beds were down there?
At the beginning when this all happened, there was 2 beds down there.
Where did the other bed go between the time that this happened?
Pit.
Mr. Dixon, let me finish my questions, okay? What happened with the bed in between the time that you killed James that night and the police officers came and took photos of the basement?
It got burnt.
Who burned that?
I did.
When did you first start using drugs with Melody?
About 6 months prior to this.
Okay. So about 6 months before she moved in with James?
Yes.
And how old would she have been at that time?
About 18 and a half.
And you indicated that the night this incident happened, it was July 5th,
Yes.
and you were all using meth.
Yes.
You were using meth, Melody was using meth, is that right?
Yes.
And James was using meth, is that correct?
Yes.
And Keith Strickland as well?
Yep.
Then after that, you went over to Kenny Amarine's house?
Yes.
Okay, and you used meth there too?
Yep.
How much meth did you consume at Kenny Amarine's house?
Probably about a half a gram.
Half a gram? Did you snort it?
Yes.
How many lines is a half a gram?
Probably about 4 lines.
And you stated that you had been up for a couple of days, is that right?
Yes.
I believe you said you hadn't slept for how long?
At least about a day and a half, 2 days.
How did you cut up his body?
I didn't cut his body up.
So the anthropologist who we heard from, who stated that the body was cut up, you're saying that that was a lie? She was wrong?
If she said it was cut up, then yeah, I didn't cut it up.
What did you do with this jawbone?
Still there, apparently. I don't know.
Well, you led detectives and you told them that you kept the jawbone, didn't you?
That's what I said, yes.
Did you know where the jawbone was at that time?
No.
So you were just having them look for something that wasn't there, that you didn't know where it was?
Yep.
That's a yes?
Yes.
And why would you lead officers on a wild goose chase for this jawbone that you never had?
I don't know.
They didn't demand you take them out to the house and look around for something that didn't exist, did they?
No.
You just made that up and went with it, huh?
Yes.
So when you told the police that James was yelling at you as soon as you walked in, that would be a lie?
Yep.
You first said that James wasn't even missing, he had just left. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And that James took his TV and gun with him. That's what you told the detectives, didn't you?
Yes.
Then you said that James may have committed suicide. Is that right?
I don't think I ever told him that.
You don't remember telling law enforcement about a well behind his house that James may be in? Is that a no?
No.
You don't recall saying that you went and looked for James back there?
I went and looked for him, yes.
Why did you go look for him when you knew where he was?
I told him that I didn't go look for him.
Then you gave a story about how you and James physically struggled for the gun and you turned the gun towards his face and he shot himself in the face.
Yes.
All those are lies, right?
Yes.
And you were lying to stay out of trouble, is that right?
Yes.
And each and every time you decided to change your story was because law enforcement confronted you with evidence that was not consistent with your story, isn't that right?
Yes.
And just to be clear, you're telling all these lies to get out of trouble, isn't that right?
Yes.
So you got rid of the gun that you killed James Whitaker with, is that right?
I brought it back to my brother, yes.
And when you took it back to your brother's house, it was so that police couldn't find it, isn't that right?
Yes.
And you hid it under his daughter's bed?
Yes.
And then you got rid of Jimmy's gun, isn't that right?
Yep.
You got rid of the large TV that was in the area, didn't you?
Yes.
And you told law enforcement and investigating officers that you got rid of it because it had blood on it and maybe some buckshot in it. Isn't that right?
That's when I told him, yes.
And you said you told him it was in the burn pit, didn't you?
Yes.
But you knew it wasn't in the burn pit because you sold it to the Amarines. Isn't that right?
Yep. Traded it for meth.
You traded it for meth?
Yep.
Defense counsel asked you about your story being the truth now. Remember that?
Yes.
Just asked you that. Well, there are some things you said now that have been the first time you said them. You realize that, right?
Yes.
When Julie came to James's house and told you to leave and called the police, why was it that you left?
Because they told me to.
Oh, and it wasn't because the police were coming?
Nope. I was going to stay there.
So you couldn't have gotten off the property and stayed and waited in the street for the police to get there?
I waited up the road for quite a while. It ain't my fault. It takes hours for the cops to get there.
It wasn't your fault?
Yes, it was my fault killing him, but I went off the property like they told me to. It's an hour and a half later, I was still right up the road waiting for the cops. It ain't my fault. It takes Hocking County 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to get out there.
And you were going to come clean with the police officers at night? Huh?
Not clean, no.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
The redirect.
Only 1 moment, Your Honor.
We, the jury, being duly sworn and paneled, find that the defendant, Michael T. Dixon, guilty of murder, an unspecified felony, as charged in the indictment, and that defendant did purposely cause the death of James Thomas Whitaker. And all 12 jurors appears to have signed. Moving on to the firearm specification. Excuse me.
Now he has been convicted of multiple felonies. He's looking at serving a long time in prison, a life sentence. So the state would request that his bond be revoked and he be held with no bond pending sentencing.
Your Honor, to this point, he has not been able to make bond. I don't believe at $1 million he would be able to make bond. We feel that's an appropriate amount considering that he has been incarcerated since the outset of this case, so we think bond's appropriate where it is.
All right, I think I'll follow the prosecutor's suggestion, no bond then. All right.
Michael Dixon is found guilty on 12 of the 13 charges he faced. The 13th charge, the one he was found not guilty on, was the charge of a sexual nature against his daughter. He is sentenced to 50 years to life for his crimes. At this point, I'd like to make a note that I've transitioned away from research and court testimony. I'm now going to speak from my own thoughts and feelings regarding this case. This case, for me, was a glimpse into a scenario so very far from anything that I've ever known. The gunshots ringing out through the woods so frequently that police have little to no concern about a stray bullet flying through the windshield of a car. The potential for a deeply disturbing and inappropriate relationship between a father and daughter. The beautiful landscape juxtaposed against a setting of broken down cars, cabins filled with artifacts of little to no monetary value, trash piles, burn pits, and a cast of colorful characters all inhabiting this wooded area. It really seems to me like the setting of a Far Cry video game or something similar. Hey, even the footage of the court case itself was surreal. It took place in the year 2021, yet the camera quality appeared to be from the mid-1980s. And speaking of the camera work, I do have to apologize for the often jumpy editing between the witness and the attorney. It appears their video system must have had some kind of auto feed, where if any microphone picked up even the slightest sound, the stream would cut to that camera angle. This, at times, although it makes sense technically, would make the video feed a seizure-inducing madness. A madness that I do feel is get rid of the man and things will all be better. In a meth-induced state, one can see the twisted logic in this. Don't worry about James's family and friends looking for him. Just tell them he walked off. Don't worry about James providing all of the money and supplies for them. He has tons of stuff. We'll sell it and be able to live for ages. Don't worry about people finding a murder weapon. I'll borrow my brother's gun. And don't worry about the body. We'll burn it in the fire pit. It all makes sense. A perfect plan. A drug-induced haze of violence. A blur of emotion, blood, and fire, followed by confusion and lies as everyone, including the murderer, tries to comprehend what has actually unfolded. 2 other arrests took place in relation to James's death. Melody Dixon now serves 9 years behind bars for her role in the events. And in addition to this, Michael's stepfather, Frank, is serving 5 years of probation for obstructing justice. The man had learned of the crime in advance when Michael told him a few days after it happened, and he chose not to tell law enforcement. But focusing on Melody here, there are reports that she has suffered greatly throughout her life, being the victim of severe sexual abuse as a child and then winding up in the grips of her father, a man that encouraged her journey into serious substance abuse, and one who probably took advantage of her while she was high. I feel as though, looking at it from a certain angle, she is a victim in all of this as well. Someone who did not ask to be born into this world. And with the mind she had, she would begin reacting to the experiences around her as best she could, making decisions and choices which followed a chain of events that led to her being present when James was killed. How involved was she, really? Did she truly know what she was doing? How much of a role did she have to play in this? And if it was a large role, did she fully understand what was going on? I mean, when adopting that method of thinking, things can get interesting, that's for sure. As if one were to follow the chain of events in her life back to the people around her, then follow the chain of events of their lives, observing experiences all the way back to their childhood, which their minds had been reacting to as best they could, then do that again and again and keep following those chains of events back in time, we'll eventually find ourselves at the Big Bang. Hey, if the Big Bang is, of course, what one accepts as a reality of our existence, and when we find ourselves at that point in time, that truly raises the question, do any of us really have any control over what's going on? Do any of us really have a say in our own lives? Or are we all following an invisible rail, passengers in a ride with the illusion of choice, pretending to ourselves that we're making decisions when really we're doing the only thing that we were ever going to do with the mind we had and the wisdom of the experiences we've encountered? Every moment being nothing more but another preset checkpoint in the history of the universe. Anyway, I am way off topic there, so I'll refocus. I think my mind wanders like it just did when writing these thoughts because I've found myself feeling a significant lack of strong emotion during the research of this case. Not because I thought that James is a bad person. In fact, quite the opposite. Everything I read and learned about the man painted him in a very favorable light. He seemed brilliant, generous, and very entertaining to be around. He seemed like a good man who had fallen on really hard times and was mentally surviving as best he could. I don't judge him for his drug use. I've known many good people who use terrible substances. I don't blame him for the fate that befell him or say that he brought it upon himself. And although I personally find this a rather uncomfortable thought, I can understand how he may have even fallen in love with Melody. He's an older, lonely man abusing substances to escape the grim reality of his life, and having this young woman living in the house, one that he probably got along with and had a fair few high laughs or deep conversations. She may have been someone that made that loneliness feel less sharp for a brief moment. Loneliness is a powerful killer, and it does make me sad at the thought that he was battling that inner monster after losing his wife. I suppose it's the unknown that prevents me from fully feeling the pain of this crime. There are only 3 people in the world who truly know what occurred on that night. And in the lead up to that night, 2 of them have lied so much that even if they told the truth now, I would never believe it. And the third is deceased. So I'll never feel comfortable in knowing what actually happened. I can read the glowing recollections from his family and friends who loved him, that he doesn't already have, and something that he deeply craves after falling in love with Melody. Whether written by James or Michael, this page is truly troubling. Because the only way I can interpret it is that the father-daughter relationship is sexual in nature, and either James is aware of that fact and wants in on it too, or Michael is using his own deviancy to try and wriggle out of trouble. Page 3, the final page, reads like a suicide note. He is expressing that his life doesn't matter, has lost all meaning, and that he has nothing to live for. And the important part here is that he will be giving up his life so that Michael's pain can go away. I will speak more about this one later on. So after going over these pages, there is the possibility that even if Michael had written this note, he only came up with the story of James liking his daughter by using the often guiding muse of reality to structure those thoughts. Observing his friend's swooning behavior over the young woman, and then putting that situation into a framework that explained everything away so very simply. If the emotional subtext of this note is all based on reality, if James were indeed infatuated with Melody, and we keep that in mind when James told Michael to vacate his property but Melody is to stay, then things don't look as heroic for the man anymore. Michael and his daughter get home late, where a high, lonely, and frustrated James sits in wait. In that moment, the man decides that he was going to remove the blocker that could resolve his feelings. He's going to get rid of Michael, and a clear path to love shall open up for him. He would express that he wants the young Melody to stay while Michael hits the road. And this could have been enough to tip the also very high Michael over a violent edge. Now, there is a third possibility that I thought of, one that would see none of what Michael claimed to have happened to be true. And this thought gives all credibility to the suicide note being written by Michael. As we're now looking at premeditation, let's bring it back to page 3. It says, I'm giving my life so that your pain goes away. This, to me, sounds as though Michael really enjoys living in the Whitaker cabin. It's a good life. He has come to feel as though it's his house. And after moving his daughter in, he is so close to having the happy family life, possibly a deeply inappropriate one, that he's always dreamed of. Except there's one little problem. The cabin belongs to James, a man that is making it difficult for him to live out his dream. I'm certain these two men talked extensively through drug-fueled nights about the problems that each of them faced. And it's a possibility that Michael's meth-drenched mind thought, if James were to just disappear, then hell, things would be much better for everyone. James has nothing to live for anyway. He's old, sick, his wife is gone, he doesn't see his daughters much. No one will worry if he just walked off one day and never came back. This is one of those cases where the truth seems completely buried under lies and drug-induced confusion. We'll likely never know for sure what really happened in that cabin. Let us know what you think about this whole story in the comments.